Hello YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Volunteer Patrol. So this particular patrol, it's for a conference. It's in town at the convention center. I'm not going to name the name, but it is a law enforcement conference, and very well known, top elite people are there at this conference. And I was directed I had to go inside for this patrol. During the course of this conference, again, just as a presence, crime prevention type situation. But for this particular instance, they had us go inside the actual convention hall. They needed additional help inside. So I'm stationed at this is the start of the trade show. Most conferences that I've ever been to, most times you have a bunch of classes and different keynote speakers and stuff like that you attend, and then there's also a trade show, usually a 1 or 2 day trade show, and usually you have to have tickets to get in. There's usually people at the entrance doors that you give your ticket to, that take your tickets and stuff like that, verify that you have a ticket to get in. If you no ticket, no play type situation. Again, these are very high up law enforcement officers from around the world, and here I am as just a little volunteer. I hate that word, but here I am as one of the lower people on the totem pole when it comes to the agency. I'm positioned at the door to provide security basically at the door, and my job is to verify if you have the right credentials to get into the trade show. Obviously, with it being this type of trade show, you have firearms that are being showcased, you have body armor, you have different things that are being showcased that you really don't want some Joe Blow to get in on. Obviously, with it being already a lot of law enforcement presence, not really much going to happen. So it's more or less a fail-safe type situation. You got a ticket, you can get in. If you don't, you ain't getting in. So here I am, basically not allowing people that didn't have the correct credentials in. You couldn't get in there, and I made darn sure of that. And it was just quite impressive that here I am being able to boss these high ranking law enforcement officers, that they can't get into a place that they probably can get in other places and nobody bat an eye. But here I am enforcing the one rule that it doesn't allow them to get in. So this is a very cool experience that I was able to have, and look forward to when that comes back around, to be able to work that. Just a very cool experience. So again, guys, you're exposed to a lot when you volunteer. Nobody says you have to get paid to have a good time, or to do some of these things, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring these stories to you, just to showcase some of the stuff that you may see, and some people that are in my agency or in my unit may never experience. Just for whatever reason, I happen to be in the right place at either the right time or the wrong time, however you want to paint that picture. Some guys just come in, or gals, they just come in, they do their deal, and they go home and never experience any of this crazy stories that I've been showcasing in this series. So, but again, I highly recommend you guys to volunteer, whether it's with your church or a non-profit organization or your local law enforcement agency. If they have any type of volunteering, whether it's inside an office or if it's out in the field, or especially the firefighters, especially right now, volunteer fire departments across the U.S. are taking a huge hit. They're not getting people to volunteer anymore, and whether it's, I think the people are out there. Unfortunately, I kind of dealt with this, and I even deal with this now. Look at this, guys. You guys can see live action right here. Wow. but volunteer firefighters are not allowed to leave their jobs to respond to fires or to trainings. People work late night and their trainings are at night or on the weekend. But volunteering right now is, the numbers are way down. I'm hoping that kind of gets an uptick with the economy going back up. People are getting back to having jobs and not have to work so many hours. And so, but volunteer, I highly suggest volunteering, because you get to experience stuff that you may not get to in your everyday life, or in your everyday job, or you may be retired and want to get back to the community. And that's a great way. My sisters, there's a local nonprofit that they volunteer for. It's Give Kids the World. An amazing work that they do for the kids with usually terminal illness and stuff. And the stories that they have are just amazing. The kids that they interact with. Unfortunately, that wasn't my nick. I didn't. I felt that I couldn't be around that. I would get too emotionally involved or too, knowing that these kids, this may be their last moment of happiness. I just decided that I couldn't do that. I'll try it in different ways. My particular volunteering allows for those kids to be able to get down sidewalks easily, or be able to have that parking spot at a store. That's kind of, in a roundabout way, I volunteer, and that's one of the things that we do. But definitely volunteer. I know this one's a little bit short, really didn't have any craziness to it, but I'm just kind of pushing the volunteering for you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments below. But hope you guys continue watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.